County. Back in here, one more reaction video, ladies and gentlemen. And we got a short clip from Zuby. He did an interview. I think I said bro name correctly. If I didn't, my apologies, homie. He interviewing Larry Elder, and they talk about why do Black Americans always vote Democrat. But at the beginning of this conversation, he speaks about some of the issues that young Black men be facing. And I just wanted to give my 2 cents on it, and y'all can let me know what y'all think. If this is your first time to the channel, get on in here. Park that whip, take the shoes off, get comfortable. As I love to say, we are simply spirits encased in human flesh trying to figure out this thing called life. Not nearly as divided, nor as demonic as the mainstream media, the mainstream hip-hop media, and the social media algorithms try to make it seem every single day. And I think we all can agree that everybody and mama is trying to grow and get enlightened in this thing called life. So if you dig what you hear in this video, do me a favor, share far and wide if you want to.
I just did the Charlemagne the God podcast. I don't know if you saw that.
Breakfast Club.
Yeah. He's the one to whom Joe Biden said, you ain't really Black unless you want
Yep,
know
I
if
know
you
who
want to vote for
Charlemagne
me or
is.
vote for Trump. I told him the overwhelming, the number one social problem in America is what I call the epidemic of fatherlessness.
Yes.
70% of Black kids are raised today without a father in the home, married to the mother, up from 25% back in 1965. Now 25% of white kids enter the world without a father in the home, married to the mother. 40% of all American kids do. And the numbers are clear. If you are raised without a father, you're 5 times more likely to be poor and commit crime, 9 times more likely to drop out of school, and 20 times more likely to end up in jail. Even Tupac, the rapper, said that I know that had I had a father in my life, I would have been more confident, I would have been more disciplined. 60% of all the robberies, the shootings, and the homicides in America are committed by Black people, often against other Black people. The number one cause of preventable death for a white teenager 19 and under is accidents like car accidents or drownings or drug overdoses. The number one cause of preventable death for a Black teenager male 19 and under is homicide, almost always at the hands of another Black male. A Black male 13 to 43 is 13 times more likely to be murdered than a white male, same demo. Now, unless we're prepared to say Black people are just genetically inclined to commit more crime, if it isn't the absence of fathers in the home, please tell me what it is, I told him. And he had no response to that.
I got a response, and I do agree that lack of fathers is important, but I think it's a little deeper than that. So growing up, I want to say my friends start getting murdered, really. Like in middle school, I had one-off friends die. But in high school, that's when it really started happening on a consistent basis when we was going to school writing RIP on the locker all the time. And while those individuals didn't have fathers, the so-called OGs in the neighborhood really set them up for failure. Like there's homies I know who didn't have dads, but they still playing basketball overseas because the men that were around them led them in the right direction. And then there was men like myself where the OGs was telling me, knock as many girls down as you can, and now I got baby mamas and stuff. So it isn't directly having a father, but if you don't have any type of positive influence around you, then unconsciously you're going to probably go down the wrong path. Me and my little brother got lucky because while our mother was on Section 8, the landlord was okay with our father living there as long as once a year when we had our Section 8 inspection, we just hid all my dad's stuff and pretended that he didn't live with us. So though we didn't grow up with money, though mom and dad had crazy domestic violence and he was always in and out of jail, we didn't have a car. The lights, the gas, the water never stayed on. Me and my brother still saw a man every day. So he now runs an extremely successful nonprofit here in Kansas City, and I'm doing my thing, raising my kids. And while we each had our own trials and tribulations we had to overcome while growing up in a home full of domestic violence and full of anger and all of that, if you were to ask him today, what's his motivation for working so hard, he'll say, because he saw my father get up and go to work every day, and he would walk from 27th Street to 75th with no car, and whether it was snowing, it was raining, or it was 105 degrees, Daddy got up and went to work. Yeah, him and Mom didn't have the best relationship, but he still worked. And on the other side, when I think about my friends that have been murdered, most of them didn't have a father. And also our culture kind of glorifies being shot, being murdered. I mean, my friend Nico, he got shot 11 times, but lived and made a video. It was like, they hit me 11 times, but I'm still here, only for somebody to come back and hit him like 25 more times, and now he gone. But outside of the guys that was flamboyant about, you know, gang violence, even quiet people like my guy Gary was super quiet. He ended up getting murdered on a drug deal going bad. Antonio got murdered selling drugs behind a building. Jeff was sitting on Kelvin's porch and he got hit during the drive by. I could just think of so many dudes I know who wasn't trying to play street, wasn't trying to play tough, but just was in an environment where collective consciousness is real and energy is real. And if you in an environment where you can just tell where something go wrong, there's a high probability that they may start shooting in the area. The other side of it is how much is glorified in the movies, in the media, in the music. And let's say I am a kid and I don't have a father. Well, I turn on the TV and I'm hearing young nigga move that dope. Young nigga move that dope. That sounds lit to me. And I'm seeing the cars they drive. I'm seeing the type of women they get the bag, the chains they got around their neck. I see mama attracted to them type of dudes when we out. Why wouldn't I want to be that way? I can probably, you know, being honest, I heard my mama tell me my daddy ain't shit over 100 times. But my mama was into the drug dealers and the rappers. So when I got a little older, I got covered in tattoos. I got the car with the 22-inch rims on it, and I got the paint job. I wanted to be everything that my daddy wasn't because my mom valued the street life. Yeah, my dad was a square, but in reality, being a square is cool. It's gonna keep you safe. It's gonna keep you alive. But a lot of the young men, they gravitate towards the lifestyle that their mothers are interested in. So I'm sure it's a lot of kids that grew up with a single mama, like Larry was saying, but turned out fantastic. Went to college, got a degree, went on and got married themselves, started a business. So it's not 100% of not having a father. Is what type of mom do you got? You know, I always say when they make it to the NBA or the NFL, is she was a strong mama and she did the best she could. But when he ended up dead or in jail or something like that, it's because he didn't have a father. And I simply feel like if you can take credit for the success, then you have to also take credit for the failure. We can't keep scapegoating the dad and say, well, they just killing each other and shooting each other and doing all this reckless stuff because ain't no men around. Because that's being disingenuous. To the women can conduct themselves properly and women can raise children if they need to. It been widows since the beginning of time. And if you go back into the 1910s, 20s, 30s, and 40s, they wasn't murdering each other in this way. But also sound frequency has changed. The type of content that's been put out. The fluoride in the water is a little higher. Like it's a lot of things that go on and it creates a combination of why people act the way they do in the inner cities. And I challenge anybody to whatever city you live in, go to the inner city. Because it's easy to judge an external perspective based off what you see on social media. But as somebody who lives in the inner city, it's not as violent as it seems. I know every morning you wake up, you see breaking news, another homicide, but it's not like they just out shooting random people. It's always over something petty, over a girl or a small amount of weed or some. It's never these American gangster El Chapo type of individuals. I promise it's not. It's just that's the illusion that's sold on social media. But these are just regular people like you and I. And unfortunately, they got low self esteem and they're extremely insecure, and a gun makes them feel tough. And they know if they get into a fist fight and get knocked out, that video go viral. But if they pull out a chop and shoot somebody, it's free to homie. He all over t-shirts and gang gang. And when you insecure, you want to be loved by the world. I understand you got to be in the world, not of the world. But I was one of the fortunate ones to realize that they say God protects fools and babies. But sometimes you touch the stove and figure out the thing is really hot. And that's why I got a lot of dead friends because they wanted to play way too gangster. On the other side of that, I got a lot of friends that's in jail right now that I'm sure if I could talk to them and ask them, was it a few seconds worth it? I'm sure they would say no. My homeboy Casanova, he in jail. He stabbed his baby mama to death and set her on fire. My homeboy Sean is in jail right now. He robbed his homeboy's friend for a PlayStation 5. My homeboy Ramon is in jail. He was drunk driving and he hit somebody and they did. My homeboy Phil, he a twin. He in jail for drunk driving, hit somebody. Nate, the dude who got shot on my front porch, he in jail for life for murder because he murdered somebody. Just the world paints this sexy image of gangsters and murderers, and they just regular people, dude. They ain't nobody like to look up to or inspire. Like I hope we can step away from combining black culture with poverty, with gangsterism, with violence, because the two really don't equate. As somebody who grew up in a homeless shelter and been on, Section 8 and used to, mama had the food stamps that was the dollar bills. And I used to remember getting on my bike, riding around looking for the mailman. Hey, you got mama's welfare check? I never wanted to pull out a gun and take nobody's life. I've never been that angry. And maybe that's just me. Maybe God didn't give me the spirit of anger that He gave other young men. But somebody who was in the environments and had guns put in my face at basketball courts simply because I was good, and had so many dudes call me, "Hey, you talking to my girl?" I remember I was talking to this girl, Mimi, a while back, and she had like ghosted me, and she had told me that her baby daddy said if he saw my car at her house, he was gonna just shoot the house up. So she just stopped talking to me. It's like, so I didn't been through a lot of situations, and I didn't been protected. But I think a lot of it stems from insecurity, because any strong, sober-minded man, the last thing you about to do is pull out a gun and take somebody else's life. That means you value them more than you value yourself, because you want to be behind bars over that individual, and that's extremely ignorant. But the definition of ignorance is lack of knowledge. But if you keep us boxed in with low vibrational content and processed food, then we will be ignorant, right? So that's why you got to educate yourself. Ain't that what they be saying? Read As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. Up from Slavery by Booker T. Washington. The Autobiography of Frederick Douglass. The Autobiography of Malcolm X. Miseducation of Negro by Carter G. Woodson. Color, Communism, and Common Sense by Manning Johnson. The Spook Who Sat by the Door. That's a book and a movie. Because once you learn to read, you will forever be free. Study Marcus Garvey. Study Jack Johnson. Just there's a lot of great figures that they don't tell you about, and that's to keep you in a state of victimhood. Oh, poor me, I can't do this. But anything that was done in the past, you can double, triple in the future. And if you got to think, you could think super, mega, awesome, big. But you need to be sober minded, and you need to have all your energy, because where attention goes, energy flows. So if you waking up, wasting energy on a daily basis, you're creating a hole in yourself, and your hole is gonna be filled by things that's in your environment. If you're not in a healthy environment, then you slowly destroying yourself unconsciously, man. So retain your energy, focus on what you want, and just watch what God do in your life, man. But don't fall for the propaganda. You don't have to be a shooter. You don't have to be a drug dealer. You don't have to be a rapper. You don't have to be any of these things. The spirit that God put in you, the light that you have, that you were born with, man, you are unique. You are one of one. And that right there, that makes you a goat. That makes you up there with the greats. You know what I mean? So be proud of who you are. Go look in the mirror right now. Say, self, I love you. And we have survived 100% of our bad days. And we're going to keep thugging it out together, because if God is for us, man, look, it don't even matter who against us. We gone. Leave your comments below. Let me know how you feel. Do you think it's because of fatherlessness? Do you think it's because of the music and the processed food, or the 27 kids to one teacher ratio? Just let me know what your thoughts are. I look forward to consuming your content as well. We all have a gift once again. You may not be Larry, you may not be Zuby, but you know what you love to do as well. Yes, I'm talking directly to you watching this video right now. This is a shout out to you. Give your art to the world and watch how God bless you. I love you all.